Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SOLACE 2022, a project initiated by the Mother Sri Lanka Society of Royal College. So this is basically an interview series where we meet up with distinguished personnel from all over Sri Lanka and from different fields and sectors of work such as arts, entrepreneurship and sports. And this is considered as a contribution from us to the society, and from this both us as students and the general public can get benefits because through these people's wise words we can get a deeper understanding on how we can adapt and improvise to different situations, and we can go forward with our career paths. So before I introduce you to our guest here today, let's do a little game. I would like to talk about his past a little bit and give you a little bit of his credentials. Let's see if you can guess him. He was born into a military and a musical background, and he learned both content and life from Ananda College, Colombo. And while he was studying Western classical music privately, he was a member for the first Ananda College senior brass band, where he played the alto saxophone and occasionally filled up the percussion sector. And he was also a pianist with the Western Music Society, and he was a founding member and a lead vocalist of the school band, winning many awards at inter-school competitions, and he was a well-known figure as a musician inside his school as well. And during the late 90s, moving on to the late 90s, he worked as a freelance vocalist singing for radio jingles and commercials together with Ranga Disanayak, and I'm not going to go forward about his career because if I do, you'll probably guess it pretty easily. And if you ask me who he is, I would metaphorically introduce you to him. We'll say the Sri Lankan pop culture is like the Colosseum of Rome. It has been staying up for the last few millenniums now, and it is still there. So the power behind it is the basement and the tombs of it. So the tombs are considered to be the factors that is keeping it still up to date. And the person we are going to talk today is one of those tombs of Sri Lankan pop culture. Yes, you have guessed it already. A very good morning, Mr. Bathiya.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. I would like to say that I'm a big fan of yours first of all, and it is an honor for me to be here.
Thank you very much.
So how are you doing?
I'm good. We have been working a lot these days, and so much of work has, like say back in 2020 everything slowed down. So 2020, 2021 things were really slow, and then 2022 at the start everything started coming up well, and then suddenly March 31st again the whole economy started to slow down, and now again people I think have a little bit of hope, and people are trying to come back with whatever they are doing, like any sort of person doing any sort of entrepreneurial thing or a business or whatever. I think people have that hope and they're trying to get back on track. So work has been quite ample these few months, and we have also been very busy.
Yes, of course, we could clearly see that you guys were pretty hectic and we were running around the place, initiating new projects and all, just like us. We also had a pretty massive break in the middle back in 2020, 2021 because of different issues, and now we are on to a massive load of work.
Yes.
So
I think very especially for you guys being in school, it must be even harder because you all have exams and stuff like that as well on top of it.
Yeah, and we are having a peer pressure from that side as well. So I'm Farviz Adnan, and I'll be your host for today. So before I move on to the questions, I would like to say that this is not going to be that classic interviewee type of talk. This is going to be like, I am your protege and you'll be my mentor on sake of...
No problem, you can shoot any question and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability.
Yes, and I'll be your protege on behalf of all the arts and musical field students at the moment.
Okay.
So, first of all, let's keep apart your musical and aesthetic lifestyle back at school. Who was the schoolboy Bathiya? If I was your friend back at school, what sort of a personality would I have seen from you?
Well, you would have seen two personalities. Up to about grade 7 or 8, I was quite forward, but at the same time I was quite shy because I had a problem with my speech. So when I used to go up on stage or whatever and try to do something, I used to get stuck when I talk very badly. I used to get a big stammer, and that dragged me a bit back, but on the other side I wanted to do things as well. So I can still remember in grade 6, every week we used to have this school assembly, whereas the grade 6 had the assembly on Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember the exact day. So we used to go to the hall, and from each grade people used to come and sing, do dramas and all that. But the part which was drawing me back was I would want to really go and sing there, but the only thing was that you had to first go there and say who you are and which class you are from. And that part I used to get stuck. So I was quite embarrassed and I didn't go to do it, but I had a friend, right? And I think Indika was a very kind-hearted guy who saw that I wanted to sing, and he's in Australia now. Indika one day told me, but asai neda macha Sindhu kiyanna meke. Manga go, ayi tiyanne natte manga go me නෑ මම මේ මට උතන ගිහිල්ලා මම දැන් වැඩේ තියෙන මට සින්දුව කියන්න පුළුවන් හැබැයි මට කතා කරගන්න බැහැ. අපි මෙහෙම ගියමු අපි ඩුවට් එකක් වගේ යමු. මම කතා කරලා කියන්නම් ඊට පස්සේ මම පොඩ්ඩක් මයික් එකෙන් මෙහෙට වෙන්න අපේ සින්දුව කියන්න මම කතා වලවන්න. මම ගානේ වාට ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. හරි මම කරන්නම්. And he's the first one actually who accompanied me on stage, and he did the part where he said මම මෙයා අපි දෙන්නා මේ පන්තියෙන් අපි කියන්න යන්න මේ සින්දුව මේ කියලා. Then he slowly we both moved like this and my mouth was more closer to the mic and we sang the song. From that day, I think everything else was history from that day. That day I got a lot of, confidence, and from that day onwards in school I was quite active. So towards the end, I became the college deputy HP in 95. I was the secretary of the Interact Club. I then went to the Interact District. I was part of the Interact District Committee. Then I was a resident scout. I went abroad twice. I represented Sri Lanka in places like Tokyo, India, all these places. And then there were so many things. So even when I was at the I think Interact Club, I participated in a lot of drama competitions. We went to the Shakespeare competition, and I was very, very active in school. Like even during my school days, I think most of my batch, they know me. Even if I hadn't come into this, most of the batch would have known because I was quite active. And I was a part of that active bunch. So up until O-levels, I was quite an achiever in terms of academic side of it. I did up to my O-levels, I did really well. But then after that, extra activities was like in abundance in my life. So with extra activities in abundance in my life, the academic side slowed down a little bit. A little bit. So I couldn't achieve one goal where I wanted to go into a Sri Lankan university. So I was short of marks to go into a Sri Lankan university. And I ended up doing something from an overseas university. So school time was a very good time. You could say that because of my speech problem, I became very focused and very determined to do things that I couldn't. Like people would think I couldn't. So I became a very focused and determined guy, but I had a lot of friends. I knew a lot of people. And at the same time, some people got really mad and pissed off with me. Because one thing is that I did not take no for an answer for so many things. If somebody said, I used to tell them, just go to hell, and I used to go ahead and do it. So that made, with that attitude, made me a few people who did not really like me. I wouldn't call them my enemies, they're all my friends now. But there were a few people who didn't really like it. Say for example, like, if you went and spoke one word in English, just to say hi or thank you, so most of the people, when they say that, you try to comply. I used to say go to helmet, but English then I used to talk. And I used to get the other guys also. But we used to aspire them to talk in English. Because we school 10 හැමදේම ඉගෙන ගන්නනේ. අපිට සිංහලෙන් හොඳටම කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්.
Yeah.
අපේ අම්මලා තාත්තලාගෙන් අපිට ලැබිලා තියෙන දේ මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ඉන්නකොට අපිට හොඳට සිංහලෙන් කතා කරන්න උගන්වලා තියෙනවා. හැබැයි ඇයි ඉතින් ඉංග්‍රීසි කතා කරන්න බැහැ? Just because you don't want to talk, you can't stop anybody else from talking. Let them talk. So we used to be those guys who used to go and say don't drag kids, and even in school, like, and also if you want to talk in English, please, even if it's broken English, no problem. Nobody's going to laugh at you.
Yeah.
කවුරුත් hina වෙන්නේ නැහැ. දන්න ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කතා කරන්න. එතකොට ඉස්කෝලෙන් අවුට් වෙලා යනකොට ඔයාලට සිංහලත් පුළුවන් ඉංග්‍රීසිත් පුළුවන්.
Yes.
So the ඔය වගේ ප්‍රශ්නෙන් there are few people who are not so fond of me, I guess, but then most of them, like majority, we are still friends, and even those guys are now, they're all grown up and we are all good friends.
Yeah.
So school time, I think, was the best time of my life. I really enjoyed school life, and I did as much as I could academically and also extracurricular wise. I did as much as I could.
Yeah.
And that school experience, I think I got at 200%, not 100%, 200%, and in abundance.
Yes, that sort of a personality is what we like to call in our language top G. Top guy.
I won't call it a top G, but I would say that you have a lot of fun in school.
Yeah.
Even classes, even when you do science or maths or commerce or whatever, arts, every subject has to be fun.
Yes.
And every extra activity that you do has to be fun, because why?
Yes.
I didn't know that at that time, but fortunately I took the maximum out of school.
Thank goodness. That is not something that you hear in abundance these days, because a lot of people say ayyo, like in Sinhalese speaking, ayyo e dawaswalata yanna tibba nan aaye.
Because I don't have that ayyo.
Yes.
Iskola gala karanna puluwa okkoma kara.
Yeah. So that is something really rare to see these days. Like a lot of people don't live in the moment, or often, So that is a massive lesson that I should learn from you and all of you guys watching.
I want to say something if there are so many schoolboys watching.
There are indeed a lot.
See, when you talk about going out of school and starting the rest of your life, you're in the first part of your life. Once you get out of school, you're going to the rest of your life. Right? That's the start of the rest of your life.
Okay.
One thing is that a lot of people try to plan life. Okay, I want to do this by 23, I want to achieve by 30. So I want to get married by X age, I want to have a kid by this age, I want to finish my MBA and then have a kid. I personally think that doesn't work.
Okay.
Life is what happens naturally, and other things that you do happen around it.
Okay.
So you have to let life happen.
Yes.
Some people, according to their flow, getting involved with a girlfriend or getting married or doing an MBA, it would happen at 20, 23, 24, 30, 35, 40, whatever. But never put a goal list like this, life wouldn't happen linear. If you're going to get involved in an accident, if you're going to die, that won't happen the way you want. So best is let life go. There are lots of people who have had kids, who have got married, who have got not married. Everybody has had success. It's not that only because you don't get married until late, or only if a guy who has got married, or only a guy who has not got married. No. According to your personality and according to your fate or whatever, life just happens.
Yeah.
So you have to keep doing the other things around it. But what people try to do is they try to plan life with all those other things. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So the best part is when you enter the rest of your life after school, go with the flow.
Yes.
Have goals.
Yeah.
But don't let those goals determine what you have to do today or whatever. Yes, you go towards achieving it, but enjoy life as well. Let life flow.
See, that part is actually, Bhathiya is actually really relatable to me, because prior to after O-level results came, prior to that, I had an entirely different career path planned. Just like you said, I'm a planner. And when the plan doesn't work, I get really upset. And I had a different plan to do after my O-levels, but then again, after my O-levels, I got a star result that I didn't expect. Like if I say to your face 9 A's, and I started my career from a different path, and due to some circumstances I had to let go of my initial plan. And I was really upset.
What was your initial plan?
So I was a sportsman at first, and like this is a strategy mentor conversation, so I would say before O-levels I was at a really small school, Ralithatwat College, Mount Lavinia. I started my education there. I became a sportsman by the age of 12. I let go of all my education. I had the potential, but then again I was so in love with cricket.
Okay.
And I became the youngest colorsman of the school's history, and under 13 captaincy, 15 captaincy, 17 captaincy. And after I came to Royal College after my O-level results, and I would say I'm a person who took advantage of the COVID outbreak, and I got 9 years, came to Royal. And because of all these circumstances in the country and the economic situations and whatnot, and I would like to point out that my family is not the wealthiest of them all as well. So I had to let go of my career thinking about them. Their pocket was getting really punctured because of me. So I had to let go, and I told my mom, Mama, I know how much you love cricket, and I know how much you love me, but I have to take this action right now. I know if I keep going, you'll find fundings from somewhere and send me to school and do all my fundings, but I'm taking the step. I'm stepping down from cricket, and I'm going to do my education at its best.
So can't you re-step up and do cricket now?
I can, but then again that's where I'm coming now. So I stopped cricket, and it was fate, I guess. There was this presentation examinations kind of thing in school, and I did really well. And my dear friend Minindu from the media unit asked me, Machan, හොඳට කතා කරන්න පුළුවන් නේ. ඇයි මීඩියා එකට ඇවිල්ලා පොඩ්ඩක් මේ මස්ටයින්ස් ට්‍රෝෆි එක ඉස්සරහට එනවා. Why can't you compare it? He asked. And I was like, yeah, I'm a cricketer. I know the subject. I can speak in English. I have a good flow. Why not? I was like, why not? And I started my career in that line, and my entire life took a flop. And I went to the Mustang's Trophy, and I did pretty well for a starter, and so on. Just like you said, life happened to me, like, and everything around it. So that part you told me was really relatable, and I'm almost starting to tear up thinking how my life flipped.
But I of course feel that if you start playing cricket again, maybe for a club, because if you are that passionate about cricket,
yes,
and you had to let go of it because of certain circumstances, I think now since you have done the exam well, you have come back, why don't you give cricket one more shot?
Yeah, that's another point that I'm thinking about right now.
Because I can see in your face that cricket is something that you really believe in and you want to do.
I thought my life lied on cricket.
What I am telling you is go back to cricket.
Yeah.
Try your luck there.
Yes.
Give it your best shot. If you fail, yes, you have given it your best shot and failed, then you don't have any regrets. But right now I can see a little bit of regret on your face. I can see that.
There's so a small part of
I know. So what you should do is you should again go and try cricket.
Yes. That's
who knows?
Yeah. True. I'll take that point as well. Yeah.
But please do that. Don't
let go.
Don't let go.
Yeah. So yes, that part was really eye-opening for me personally, and for all the viewers out there. I know for a fact that 70, 80, 90% of you have fallen into these kind of situations.
Because I'll tell you a small thing. So when I came out of school, the general perception was that if you can't study or educate yourself, then you can go and play in a band or whatever. The general, parents' mentality at that time.
Yeah.
So I did my degree, I got a very good job, and I was doing a very good corporate job at that time. And while doing that, I said, no, I want to quit for 2 years and do singing. Because my heart ached to do singing.
Yes.
So if you take up a Ammalata, they did good jobs, but then they are not from rich huge rich backgrounds. So I said that, and they were also a little bit, my father was very supportive towards it, but my mummy was like, ayyo, mechara me karala degree kalla hondara asawa kalla ine aswela me man kone, give me few years. And finally it paid off.
Yeah.
And today I don't have any sort of regret. Even if I failed at what I did at that time.
Yeah.
But I gave it my shot.
Yes.
I quit my job, I gave it my best shot.
Yes.
And then if I failed, then I would have still gone back to the corporate job, and I would have been happy there, and I would have known that I gave it my best shot and it didn't work out. But if you know that you didn't give it your best shot, someday you will start regretting.
Yes.
So don't let that happen.
Yeah. I'll take note of that for sure, Mr. Bhathiya. Thank you very much for that. So that was rather very eye-opening for all of us. And then now let's move on to your initiate of your career. How did the flame in yourself start about this whole musical thing? Because you came from a musical background, or what was the reason?
Musical background in the sense, my Ammi's side, my mother's side.
Your grandmother.
My grandmother used to sing in the choir in Kandy actually at
a college, yes.
What's the school? Hillwood College.
Yeah.
And then my Amma used to play piano. She plays very well and she has done exams and stuff. So I started to play the piano at the age of 6, or I think maximum high. So I started playing the piano. Then I joined the school band. Then I used to sing. I used to love singing and playing.
Yeah.
So with that, during the early 90s, Sri Lanka got exposed to a lot of global stuff because people who used to like the first private radio stations in Sri Lanka were TNL and SFM.
Okay.
So when those came out, there was a lot of global music being heard because when we were small, SLBC used to play a pretty old stuff. They didn't play the newer stuff at that time. So we heard some new stuff, and then with that I really like to do something Sri Lankan but on par with the world.
Yes.
So that was a very big passion I had.
Yeah.
And also it's a very funny story. When I used to go to sleep from year 8 onwards, I used to think I used to think I'm in a plane. I'm an international touring artist who is going to somewhere to play, and I used to sleep with that. So that was a very strange thing. So I used to do that, and that slowly created a very strong passion inside me that I really wanted to do this as a career. When you consider the Sri Lankan parents' mentality, you don't like to say it out loud because everybody wants you to do a corporate job or become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, or somebody.
Yes.
So then it's very, very hard for you to come out and say it openly also. But now I think you guys don't have that problem because now it's more opened up. I'm talking about 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You were a bit shy to say that you wanted to do this full time. But that passion was so much in me. Even after I did my degree, went to a job, I can still remember one day I get a call from one of my friends. Right? So, I think Ranga Asanayaka had an assistant called Ranga Jayakody. So Ranga Jayakody was my classmate. So Ranga Jayakody one day called me while I was at office and said, look, we have a problem. There's an advertisement which has to go on FM. I said,
yes.
Tomorrow, the guy who is supposed to sing this, a professional singer, he can't turn up today. Now this was around 4 o'clock in the evening. He said, can you come and sing? I couldn't find anybody, so you came to my mind because his school is in the holiday. Can you come? So I said, okay. And after work I went and I sang it, and the client apparently loved it. Okay. So from that day I got calls from Ranga Jayakody and both Ranga Asanayaka to come and sing jingle after jingle after jingle after jingle. I was singing so much of jingles. Then I got an idea, why don't we do something different, like a song, like that thing that I had. So then I met Santush properly in 1995 after I started this opera class. He was at Royal, I was at Anand, we used to do outing. It was a very brief meet, but in 95 we started going for this class and he was also there.
Okay.
So he was my good friend at the class, so I told him this idea. He said, Macham, then we got together and we started talking. Then we went back to Ranga Asanayaka and said, look, you have the studio. shall we do something like this? And then we started experimenting, and rest is history. So that passion inside you, this is why I explained to you as well.
Yes.
I can see the cricketing passion inside you. If you keep bottling it up for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
right? Someday you will either explode, right? Either you will go cuckoo, or you will live with a lot of regret, or you will be a pain to your son or daughter.
Yeah.
Because you would want to relive your dream through them. Then you don't allow them to live their dream. You're trying to make them achieve what you couldn't. This is the problem with most of the parents.
Yeah.
මට කරන්න බැරි වෙච්ච දේ මගේ ළමයාගෙන් කොහොම හරි කරගන්න ඕනේ.
Yeah, true.
Then you will be a bad parent.
Yes, true.
You should let them do what they love. My father was in the army. He never forced me to go to the army. His brother is a lawyer. Right?
Yeah.
My father didn't force me to go to the army. He told me do what you love.
Yeah.
So I did something else, then I did something completely different.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he was very good at what he did. I'm very good at what I do.
Yes.
So this won't happen if you bottle up your thing and live with regret.
True. So you met up with Santosh at that stage.
Yes.
You talked about, right? So when you moved on to the professional side of things with Santosh, you guys had to do this little partnership sort of thing. So when it comes to working with a partner, which this is a really important question to all of our friends out there, when it comes to working with a partner, what are the do's and don'ts, and what roles did you play in the whole thing?
I will tell this to you. I won't answer it in the same format you asked me, but I'll
Okay.
tell you the core of it. So Santosh and I, our friendship is based primarily on trust.
Yes.
How that happened was, prior to starting Bhathiya and Santosh, yes, we were friends, but we were not the best of friends. We were just two guys who knew. We were acquaintances who were friends.
Oh.
Hi machan, bye machan,
Yeah.
ඒ වගේ level එක. But our friendship was built with the formation of Bhathiya and Santosh. After a few years, we realized that to each other, we were the most trustworthy work colleagues
Okay.
that we both have met.
Okay.
So with that was a foundation. So trust was the foundation. Because if you take the two of us, we are very different personalities, extremely different personalities.
Okay.
If some people just see us in a normal space, they would think, how come this partnership works? Because we are completely different people.
Yeah.
But we both have the ability to focus on an objective. That I think comes with our education, our corporate background, where he also worked in a corporate, I also worked in a corporate. So with that background, we can focus on an objective.
Yes.
So when we formed BNS, our focus has always been BNS.
Okay.
It's not that we don't have arguments, we don't have constructive arguments. We have differences of opinion, we have that all the time.
Yeah.
If you ask our team, they know. We have differences of opinion all the time because we are two different people. We see things very differently. If I see this as half full, he will see it as half empty.
Yeah.
If I see this as half empty, he will see it as half full.
Okay.
This is who we are. But the thing is, in a partnership, even for you guys, every partnership, yes, you do have disagreements, but most of the time where partnerships fail is any disagreement you have for objective cause within that partnership. As in, say, we want to make a song. I think it should be like this, he thinks it should be like this. So your constructive argument comes to a point, after that it crosses that objective line and goes to emotional line.
Yeah.
Then what happens is you start talking about all crap.
Yes.
2 days ago you did this,
The
3 days ago
past
you
and
did this.
all. Yeah.
At that time you need to know where to draw the line.
Yes.
Then you take a break, you come back, and again you focus on things. So as long as you do that,
Yeah.
I think a partnership, any partnership can work. I don't mean only like bands or work partnerships.
Yeah.
Any partnership, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, anything can work out as long as you have that focus.
Yes. So take notes, guys. That's some really important stuff there. So next, Mr. Bhathiya, you and your work colleagues and your partners and all got together and constructed one of the best, I should say the best pop culture in Sri Lanka, and you climbed to the top. And the most important part is, like, a lot of trends come and go these days, right? So they come, they do some work and they get hit, and in a couple of weeks they go down. But with you guys, it was something entirely different for 2 decades now. For 2 decades, not a joke.
No, it's actually 2.5 decades.
2.5. Oh yeah, 2.5.
Next year.
2.5.
2023, it's 25 years.
Yeah, 2023. So that is mind blowing. So that is something that you don't see a lot in these days. And if you ask the question that I'm going to ask from an ordinary artist, they wouldn't know the answer, because you guys are pretty much the only people who did it in Sri Lanka. I would like to ask, how did you remain on the top for so long?
See, with BNS, it was never about a trend.
Yeah.
We never brought about a trend. We brought about a thing that you call an entire paradigm shift in the industry.
Yes. True.
See, what happened is, now entertainment is the lifeblood, is the lifeblood of all the brands and services that you see.
Yes.
Right? If you take a cake of soap, what is it? If it's just a bar of soap, nothing.
Yeah.
You've got an artistic packaging to it.
Yeah.
You've got a sound to it.
Yes.
Like the jingle that it comes in. Then there's a creative script to it and a commercial which gives it personality.
Yes.
So all these, if you take advertising, all that, it boils down to like the arts industry.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this country, if you take banking and telecommunication and these industries, during the 80s, it was very difficult. You guys don't know, you guys were not born. But in the 80s, to get a phone, you had to stay for about 5 months, 1 year, sometimes 2 years. Because there was only one operator in the country, which was operated by the government. Mm-hmm. Even the banks, do you know that it was when we were schooling that the ATM cards were introduced? During the early 1990s and all. Right? So, those industries became big and today structured because they went through this process. Mm-hmm. Now, if you go to a telecommunication company, like, think about this very hard. Mm-hmm. If you go to a telecommunication company, how many telecom engineers do you get? Maybe 100?
100, yeah.
You will get about 3,500 to 5,000 people in the company, but about 100 telecom engineers.
Yes.
Rest is what? HR, marketing, legal, sales. You get people from other areas of expertise coming together.
Yes.
And here you got a good company, and here you got how this whole industry gets structured. You get people from other facets coming into this industry.
Yeah.
So the telecommunication engineers are the core, but just like that, the entertainment industry in the world is also structured like that.
Okay.
Right? You don't get an artist. Like even if you take a company like Sony Music, Universal and all, it's not people who sing and play in it. Yeah. You get AR managers, you have marketing managers, it's a structure. If you don't get that structure, you will always be exploited by other industries.
Okay.
And you will be, yes, famous, everything is there, fame, everything is there, but you will be at the bottom of the food chain.
Yeah.
They show as if you're on the top of the food chain, but you're at the bottom of the food chain. So, what we wanted to do was, we wanted to change this.
Okay.
The paradigm shift we wanted to get was, we wanted to make it a properly structured industry. So, we started a band, then we made it into a brand, then we made it into a brand which can sustain itself, a band and a brand which can sustain itself. So for that we had our sound. We had a unique selling proposition, which was a unique sound. Then we brought that. Then in 2003 we brought in structure to this. We started our own audio production house, which was right. And then we brought in the audio production house. Then we brought in our own events arm. We brought in our own a company which does like say documentary shoots, music video shoots. We brought in that. Then we brought in app development company. Yeah. We brought in a lot of companies, about 8 companies at the moment. And with that, We put in structure to this. With that, we brought in people from other other like people who have done other areas of work into this. We have got accountants working, we have got marketing guys working, we have got management people working here, right? We have got 5 guys who are doing audio production. With me and Santosh, 7 guys. Then we have got 2 or 3 guys who are creatively doing shoots. Everybody else is from other facets. They do planning, they do logistics, they do a lot of things. Right? So we have a lot of guys who worked at places like HSBC, NTB, the banks, and then they wanted to do entertainment and they have come. So they come with their expertise in the bank. So we've got a lot of experts working with us, which has created, right, a corporate structure within us.
Okay.
And this is what was the blueprint for most of the artists now, to structure themselves at the start. If you take a lot of artists now, take for example Sanuka, Sri, they are both academically qualified guys who are doing music. If you take Sanuka, he has done IT, I think, at SLIP. And then if you take Sri, he has done his electrical and electronic engineering from Peradeni. But he's doing music. So these boys and girls, the new generation boys and girls, have started to think like corporates, like brands. They are doing art. Yes, art is your co-product. You do that with a lot of love. You don't do it yet, feeling that you need to sell it or something. You just do it. But once you come to the end of the art, it becomes a product. So this is how we saw the industry. This is what we wanted to give, so that entertainment industry would be a very good lucrative industry for young people to come in and choose as a career, and as a good career which will stay on par with their friends who go into a corporate career. So this was our dream. So this is not by any accident which this 25 years happened. This was with a lot of planning, lot of structure, and a lot of in-depth analysis of our own industry. That is how this 25 years happened. It's not with sheer luck or any just one song. So even if you take our songs, the sound has been evolving. Take from our first album to a song like what we did like 2-3 years ago, like Aikale Adare Rusara. It appeals to your crowd. Right? So we see the changing generations, the changing wants and needs, the changing likes, and how the society changes. And you need to always note that you as an artist always has to cater to the future generation, not the past, because you have already catered to the past. You have given them what you think at that time. Like any song which comes out is what you go through at that time. So we have given that for their time. Right? Now you need to always address the future audiences, the future kid, and you need to always know that. So this is why, when you realize that is why these 25 years happened. Because you're constantly thinking forward. You're not staying in one place and trying to say that, you're not trying to bask in that glory. And also the last one is, this was an advice given to me by my father. He said, when you wake up every morning, you think that you were a star yesterday. You have to work today, you have to work really hard today to become a star tomorrow. Right? You have to become a star tomorrow, you need to start working very hard today. And also, just because you were a star yesterday, it doesn't mean anything for today. It's irrelevant of what you have done. Yes, it might be, people might tell you all these things, but it is irrelevant for your success today.
That single-handed might be the simplest but the most powerful advice I've ever heard. That's simply there, but it's just the fact that people don't recognize. And also, Mr. Bhathiya, the sound evolution you talked about, I pretty much grew up with your songs. Since my childhood, my sisters were mad fans of you guys, had posters all over their walls at house, and my mom personally was a fan of you as well. So those days, obviously the Pathupem, Pathummal and
Yes.
De Dunna Sedi, those sound trends are much different to songs nowadays, like Rosara and
Ekale Adare and
yeah,
stuff like
Aikale
that.
Adare and Saragi Asil and all those songs. So you can clearly hear that evolution of your music.
So we also work with a lot of young people. So
Okay.
every year we add in a young person to our team. So we have a range of people starting from 40s
Yeah.
down to like a person who has just left school. So we get all those ideas because that is the cross society that
Okay.
you have to live with.
Yeah.
You can't just live with your own age people, you have to live with everybody, your kids, young adults,
Yeah.
adults, right? Older people. So that composition has to be there even in your teams when you work with. Then you can get a good balance feel.
I love how you guys have a strong root and a strong trunk for your whole tree. You know, that's mind blowing. And moving on to your work, Mr. Bhathiya, is like out of all your work, which one is your favorite and which has the beautiful backstory to it? And why is that your favorite?
I think Tarunne, the album is our favorite.
Uh-huh.
It's not even the first one. See, because Tarunne was a very big. Tarunne was a game changer. Tarunne was a game changer for us.
Okay.
Because with Tarunne, like if I make it short, we signed up with Sony, right? We signed up with Sony India because of Tarunne.
Okay.
Tarunne brought us, see, when we started in 98, we were looking too forward. As in Sri Lanka was changing at a slower pace while we were changing too fast.
Too rapidly.
So then what we realized was our concept was not going through to the general youth from rural areas as well.
Okay.
So then we took 2 steps back. We went to the roots of Sri Lanka. We did Nana Nena, we did Unmadri, we did Malpan Podak, we did Ethnic Woman.
Mention of those songs give me shivers. On to your current work, are there any different or new approaches towards any new sector lately?
Well, actually, we are doing a big experiment for the last 2 years, which was supposed to come a little bit earlier, but because of COVID and a lot of things, it got dragged. And today we are at the end of the project, but I don't want to say anything about it. It's a very technology-oriented project that we are doing, and you will see how it's going to come within the next 6 months.
Okay, so there's a little bit of an element of secrecy there. So you're looking forward to something new then?
Yes.
Okay, so to wrap our talk up, Mr. Bhathiya, this is coming from a personal friend of mine, and ever since he told me about these questions, I've started to ask these questions from distinguished personals I talk to, and I take their answers and I write down in one of my personal journals. So it has been a very eye-opening question. So the question is, if you could go back in time to a certain time period of your life and could talk to your younger self and just tell him one advice or just one some sort of a sentence rather, what would it be and to which stage would you go?
I don't think I would want to do that.
Oh.
Because see, I am who I am today because of that younger self. If I change anything, I won't be who I am today, so I don't want to change anything of mine today.
Okay.
I'm happy with who I am and what I have done. Maybe yes, there are shortcomings, there may be faults, but all those things are experiences which has made me who I am. So I don't want to change anything from the past.
Okay.
Because that past is what has brought me here.
Yeah, so to be honest, I've talked to a lot of distinguished personals and big names in Sri Lanka. The difference that puts you in an entirely different category is that when we are talking about the past, you seem to have no regret at all. That
I
all
don't
of them.
I don't have any regrets at all because see, as I told you,
Yes.
anything that I wanted to do, I have tried to the fullest.
Okay.
Some things I have been good at, some things I have not been good at.
Yeah.
And also, I think that who we are today is because of what we were
At the past.
in the past.
Yeah.
So, we won't be who we are today if that past, say for example, if you do anything bad, like go and kill a person or murder a person, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
You can go and tell,
Yes.
you're small, you can go
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
past and try to change things. But I don't think, for me, I don't have that at all. I don't think that I I don't want to change anything, because all the things that I've experienced in the past has brought me to now.
Yeah.
And even today, I don't regret anything.
Yeah.
I take everything as an experience.
Yes, that is really mind blowing, since you are the only person who said that to me. All of them would be taking that option and going back to the past and change at least one thing they did. But you are a man that I would like to keep as my role model, because that is the life I'm looking forward to living in the future. Because
That's the reason I told you, go
Yes.
back and try cricket to the
Yes.
fullest.
Exactly. So yeah.
If not, you will have to want to come back and change.
Of course. I want to be like you and say, if someone asks a question from me, no. And I will definitely mention you in the future if someone asks me that. So that pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, wraps things up for today's proceedings. And I would like to thank you, Mr. Bhathiya, for
Thank you for having me on your program.
Yes, a little bit of your busy and precious time for us here at your studio, and this is
I really appreciate
for all of my crew as well. This is a massive opportunity for us to see all these golden buttons and silver buttons and your pictures. These obviously turning points of our Sri Lanka's music career. So thank you very much for having us here, Mr. Bhathiya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So if you think this program
I hope to
was,
see you
yes,
play cricket one
Thank
day.
you very much. Thank you very much. So if you think this interview was really good and you want your friends to watch this as well, share this. Thank you very much.